There are no secrets to success, just things you haven't learned yet. And once you learn them, it's up to you to apply them. I'm Jamaal, aka Boss Eagle, Billboard-charting hip-hop artist and music business coach. Join me as we talk digital marketing, social media, technology, and more, and share interviews with industry professionals to help you unlock the secrets and take control of your music career. Because we are the new music business, and this is the Indie Musician Secrets Podcast.
What's up, everyone? It's Jamaal, aka Boss Eagle, host of the Indie Musician Secrets Podcast. I want to welcome you to today's episode. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great week. It is snowing here in Colorado, and so just so that you know, I'm actually not in my office today, so I am recording my podcast here in my closet because we've had nice weather, and I woke up this morning and it's like snowing outside. It's bananas out there. So yeah, but it has to still be done. We got to still get it done. So welcome to today's episode. We're going to be talking about playing live shows and if you're ready to get back out there. But first, before we get into that, just want to remind you to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to it, to the Indie Musician Secrets Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all those places, and make sure to leave a rating and review. And always, if you have questions or comments or anything like that, we also put the podcast over on YouTube, so you can always jump over there as well and stream and listen and all that good stuff. But again, don't forget to rate and review. We really appreciate that. So without further ado, let's jump into today's episode. We're talking about, are you ready to get back out there? In terms of playing live shows again. And so obviously, unless you've been living under a rock these past couple of years, you know that a lot has changed, a lot has happened in the music industry, particularly as it pertains to live shows and live events. But it's exciting to see things coming back. One of the things that I currently do right now, I work super part-time for a company called So Far Sounds. I'm a show experience lead, and so it's been cool to be able to have events, to have live music again, and to have people there to enjoy it. And so there are things that are going on, if that's something that either you're looking to get back into or maybe get into for the first time. So there's a couple of things and a couple ways that you can jump back into that. And one of them being just venues, you know what I mean? Like your standard venues that are in your hometown or near you. You can check around to see which venues in your area are holding events. I know that where I am here in Colorado, and I know for so many other places, when COVID hit, it was a real bummer because a lot of venues actually closed their doors. I know of venues who had to close their doors or sell to someone else, to another buyer, because they just honestly couldn't stay open. So shout out to organizations like NEVA, the National Independent Venue Association, who worked to get some legislation passed to for the state, excuse me, for the Save Our Stages Act, and able to get some funding to some of these venues. But a lot of venues are open or opening back up. So check around in your area to see what venues there are, and just make sure you familiarize yourself with any type of COVID protocols. I know that it's different in different areas. Some places are still a little bit more strict. Some places are opening up a little bit more. It is good to see that some of the restrictions are coming down a little bit. We're maybe going from the mandatory mask or mandatory vaccination to maybe like a negative test, that kind of thing. And I've even seen places where they're like, mask is highly recommended or highly encouraged, but they're leaving it optional. So just make sure you familiarize yourself with the protocols, so that you are, that you're in the right step, in the right place to be able to hold shows there or to perform there. Just know kind of where each place stands, and just know too that I think a lot of places are probably opening up a little bit more too, as far as like some of those restrictions. So just keep your eyes peeled, because there are definitely there are going to be changes continuing to come down the road. But look at definitely getting back into some of those venues. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, a little bit more deeply into that in a second here. But the other place I wanted to encourage you to look at is festivals, looking at music festivals. Obviously, some festivals like venues, they closed down to one of our big festivals here in Colorado actually made the decision last year to cease operations, and it was like heartbreaking, you know what I mean? Because they've just been around for so long. It's a well-known festival. I'm thankful that I have gotten to play that festival. It was actually called the Bohemian Nights at New West Fest, and they made that decision, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe one day they'll come back and start it back up again. But there are festivals that are going on. I know here in Colorado, some of our big ones are still happening. The Underground Music Showcase, which is in Denver, FOCO MX, which is up here in northern Colorado. Two amazing festivals that I've had the fortunate opportunity also to play a couple times each. The Cherry Creek Arts Festival is another big one in kind of the Denver area. I actually, just to be fully transparent, I actually just got a rejection yesterday from that one. So I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of people that are vying for these spots too, and I think especially as artists are trying to get back out there and jump back in, there's going to be a lot more submissions too. So just be just be patient, and just be, I guess maybe I don't know if patience the right word, but just be persistent, be diligent, but also just be flexible too, because a lot of folks I think are still trying to figure everything out in terms of staffing, and they're dealing with a lot of probably variances between maybe venues and restrictions and what do they do and all that stuff. So I know that some festivals are probably a little bit behind right now on their booking, but they're trying to work through it. So again, yeah, so maybe yeah, be patient with them, be patient with the programmers and stuff like that. But definitely look out there for music festivals, because that's a great opportunity to kind of get back out there. It's a built-in crowd, which is why I love music festivals. To be perfectly honest, because you don't have to do a ton of like you don't have to bring the crowd necessarily. It's not to say that you shouldn't promote or help promote, but you don't have to do a lot of that legwork of getting people there. So look at venues in your area, look at festivals as well. Those can be two great opportunities if you're ready to get back out there and play live shows. And so, if for any reason you're just jumping into the podcast, this is the Indie Musician Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Jamaal, aka Boss Eagle, Billboard charting hip hop artist, music business coach, and digital marketer, entrepreneur, all that good stuff. So we're talking about, are you ready to get back out there and playing live shows? So again, look at venues, look at festivals, and I want to touch on a little bit, what to do, some things you can be doing if you haven't played for a while, because I know a lot of folks just haven't been on stage in a long time, and I think it is kind of like riding a bike, but there are some things where you wanna make sure that you brush up on. So some things you all can be doing is rehearsing. You know what I mean? Just get into your basement, get into your garage, get into your studio, your attic, wherever you go, and just rehearse. Start breathing some life back into your old songs and everything. Bring those feels back up. You know what I mean? And so you can even some of it is just so you can get your wind back up. I know, at least for me as a hip hop artist, building my wind, building my lungs back up and everything to say all those words, is something that's going to be important, to get back out there. Another thing you could do is start to think about creating new arrangements. Take some of your old songs, but make new arrangements. You know what I mean? Maybe instead of just starting off on the one, maybe you have a little instrumental or some type of lead in, or maybe you make a new arrangement with your set list, even. You know what I mean? And maybe you've got some new music, and so you start incorporating some new things in there. If you've in this last year, like a lot of people, if you've learned a new instrument or you're learning a new instrument, can you incorporate that somewhere in there too, to kind of again give it a different feel, give it some new texture, even if it's your old songs. One of the things you can also do is to reach out to talent buyers and bookers and all those folks that you've worked with in the past, and let them know that you're still playing. I actually had the opportunity to talk to a colleague of mine here not too long ago who's a talent buyer for Live Nation. And that was one of the things that she suggested too. She said, just reach out to some of those people, because I think a lot of what happened during COVID is some people just stopped playing. And that's coming from a talent buyer. And so for a lot of these folks, they may not even know who is still a band, like who's still out there performing, who's still gigging. And I've even had that, like, where I've emailed people or whatever, and they'll be like, "Wow, it's great to hear that you're still playing." Because I think a lot of artists probably stopped, or a lot of bands might have broken up during COVID. So just reestablish those connections, and that's something I'm going to be doing too. So I'm not like telling you guys, "Oh, do this," and and I'm not doing it or not planning to do it either. I am definitely planning to do that. It's just reaching out to people and just saying, "Hey, I'm still here," and just wanted to let you know that I'm still out here. I'm still playing. So and then with that, start to look for venues, start to look for dates at venues that you could maybe open, see if they have any openings. Because again, talking to that colleague of mine, she was telling me that one of the issues she was having trouble with is that as they were booking artists to play, artists were falling out because they were contacting COVID or different things were happening. So letting even those venues know, like, hey, I'm open any day, or I'm sorry, any Friday in May. I'm open any Thursday in April, that type of thing, just so that they know. If you have specific dates or if there's specific artists that you're like, hey, I could open for that, it lines up musically or whatever that looks like, let them know. But then also, yeah, let them know about open dates too. And that kind of goes back to that, checking out venues in your area that we talked about earlier. And then also look for smaller opportunities too, like fun centers, entertainment centers, bowling alleys. One of the places that I'm going to be looking into, I'm just letting you guys know, is Top Golf here in the United States. I don't know if they all have a performance area or anything like that, but I think it would be so so fun. And I know that there's a venue at the Top Golf. I think it's called the Cowan. It's at the Top Golf in Nashville. And so I'm just looking at, unique and different places to try to play it. And I encourage you all to. And, with that, I know it can be also difficult to find some of those places because sometimes you're like, hey, I kind of maybe know the same places in my town or whatever, or maybe I don't. Maybe I just don't even know where to start. And I just want to share with you guys a resource that I actually have bought. I've actually invested this. Yes, there is a cost associated with it, but it's called the Indie Venue Bible, and I've bought several products from these folks. They're great. They're the ones that put out the Indie Spotify Bible and and all those other documents that they put out. They collect all this information and they're updating it every year. And so I've just invested in the Indie Venue Bible. I think they had a promotion running like kind of into last year, and they have like an online database too that has thousands of different like bloggers and music services and record labels and management and like all the radio stations, all this stuff. But one of the things that they also do is the Indie Venue Bible, which has over 30,000 venues and festivals in the United States and Canada. And so one of the things I've done is I've actually already started going through that, and I started going through just the festivals in my state and then starting to apply. And so, it's nice because you already have this database. It's already curated. You don't have to you could have to still do a little bit of work, but you don't have to do a ton of work because a lot of that legwork is already done for you. So, there's like thousands of venues and festivals. There's colleges, bars, coffee shops, theaters, clubs, churches, bookstores, right? Because everybody has a different style, right? Like my style is hip hop may not work in a coffee shop, but if you're a singer songwriter, you can just roll with your acoustic guitar or your acoustic and you've got like a cello player or something like that. Do it. Definitely, go for it. So that's the Indie Venue Bible, and you guys can get a copy of that. I have a link. It's venues at I'm sorry, no, venues dot bizmindedmusic.com. That's venues dot bizminded music.com, or you can go to venues.indiemusiciansecrets.com, and it'll take you to where you can get a copy of that. So that's venues.bizmindedmusic.com or venues.indiemusiciansecrets.com, and I'll leave those links in the show notes as well, so you guys can click on that, check it out, read up on what it's all about and what you get. They give you some other free things too, some other free guides and resources that come with that. So again, it's one of those things where it's like one of the best investments you can make is into yourself. And especially if you're looking at getting back out there, hitting up shows, or maybe again, for the first time, maybe you're like, hey, maybe this is opportunity now for me to get out there. Maybe I had never done it before and now I want to. You could take advantage of a resource, an amazing resource like this that you get to keep. It's a PDF, so you'll have it forever and it has hyperlinks. So it links to the actual like places and stuff. It's all like categorized by genre and color coded. Like it's amazing. So, and again, I have invested in this and other products from them as well, so I can vouch for it. I'm using it right now. And I've been using the resources as well. So you can go to venues.bizmindedmusic.com or venues.indiemusiciansecrets.com and grab a copy of the Indie Venue Bible. So that's all for this episode. I hope you all are doing well. Hope this serves you. And I do hope that you're able to get back out there if you have been playing in the past, or if you're, just now starting, that you're able to get out there now and get playing those gigs. Make sure that you, again, continue to subscribe to this podcast. We're going to be putting out some great content. Don't forget to rate and review. Check us out on all the streaming platforms, YouTube, SoundCloud, all that good stuff. And if you guys ever need more resources, you can hit us up at businessmindedmusicians.com. So with that, I'm going to go finish up this podcast and maybe see if I can join my family in a little bit as they're watching a movie. But with that, we'll talk to you guys in the next episode. All right. God bless. Peace.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow the Indie Musician Secrets podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen, and make sure to leave us a rating and review. Also, share this episode with other indie musicians you think it would be beneficial for. And for more helpful resources to help you grow your music business, visit us at businessmindedmusicians.com. I hope this episode has served you. We'll talk to you on the next episode.